Hello, I'm Stephen, the man with the mustache, and welcome to The Creative Arts Show. This is the show where we aim to promote the creative arts industry and highlight the wonderful people that work within it. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any content and episodes coming up in the future. But most importantly, share this video because we're really trying to raise awareness and help an industry that's been hurt by the coronavirus pandemic. And by sharing this video, you can help those that work within it, and we'd really appreciate it. Well, I am looking very flowery today in this shirt, and that's because it is spring here in Melbourne. However, unfortunately, we still are in lockdown, but we're still having great conversations with great people. Like today's guest, Louis Hanson. Louis comes from a media background where he's done some hosting and presenting for TV and events. However, he's more of a freelancer these days, and he's really gotten into his social media. He's gained quite the following on Instagram and TikTok, and his content is absolutely hilarious. Go check it out. But first, let's have a chat. Well, Louis, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and I'm glad you could spare the time to hang out with us and tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do.
Perfect. So, firstly, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I live in Sydney now. I'm originally from Melbourne. Cool. I come from a bit of a journalism, social media background, but I've always liked having my fingers in a lot of different pies. Over the past couple of years, I wrote a children's picture storybook, and I made a podcast and just doing various things. But for now, I would say that I write things and I post embarrassing stuff on the internet.
Excellent. So I noticed you on Instagram and TikTok, and I believe you've gathered quite a following on Instagram and TikTok over the years. But how long have you been doing Instagram and TikTok for? How long have you been on those platforms?
Instagram, it's been a few years. I think when I was in year 12 when I first got Instagram. And you know what? I missed the times of having Instagram, like from 5, 6, 7 years ago, when all you needed to do was chuck up an image, put on a Valencia filter, call it a day.
It's a bit more complicated than that now, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a bit more complicated. And in terms of TikTok, I really started posting stuff right at the start of COVID. Boredom probably spurred me on to post consistently. And then, throughout the isolation period, TikTok kind of became my source of comfort or joy, a way
entertainment,
to escape.
Self-entertainment, keep you occupied. And it's crazy, I think TikTok especially, social media has been so important for people to connect with one another and entertain one another throughout this whole pandemic. But TikTok especially, that's just gone through the roof. And, so you started using TikTok at the start of the pandemic, and you've got like 20, how many followers on TikTok have you got now?
I think like 14,000 or something.
That's a good following in 6 months.
Yeah. But yeah, it was definitely the pandemic that kind of pushed me to start posting. It was addictive. You just scroll for hours and then you're like, hey, I can probably do this.
I can do this stuff as well. Well, we'll get back to TikTok in a little bit, and I just want to talk a little bit about your children's book that you wrote and your podcast. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the children's picture storybook was a project I did with 2 close friends of mine. Daisy, who is a graphic designer and artist and illustrator, and Trent, who has kind of a history in children's picture storybooks and marketing. So I guess our 3 brains together, we kind of formed a nice little team. So the book was called Ben the Boy Who Paints His Nails. And, it was kind of a passion of mine to create something that I wished that I had seen as a kid. As I get older and I realize the things that I was shown as a child, whether it be picture storybooks and, movies and films and stuff, I began to realize that we were only being shown a certain kind of story or kind of identity.
Yeah. Just only this much of the whole spectrum of humanity, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So, it was so much fun creating the storybook, and I'm just happy that I was kind of able to create something that hopefully some little kids out there can read and to just be aware that they are able to be whoever they want to be. You know, they don't have to prescribe to some kinds of gender
Exactly
narratives.
right. And what's the book about a little bit? Give us a little bit of a plot.
So the too long didn't read version is, so Ben lives with his mum in a village, and then all of a sudden a serpent comes in and takes away all of the colour in the village. Everything's black, white, grey, and Ben comes across some nail polish, and when he finds that when he paints his, one nail red, that the oranges and the tomatoes come back, and when he paints,
that's cool.
His other finger yellow, then the sun comes back and the stars, and it's kind of just a nice little mantra that, in expressing yourself the way that you truly want to, that the world kind of opens up for you.
That's amazing, and it's so important for people growing up to have representation as well. We see it in superhero movies now, where girls are represented, quite heavily, which is great for young girls to see that. With Chadwick Boseman as well, with the black community. So it's really good to have that representation, and for kids to see that when they're young and feel okay about how they feel, which is awesome. And do you still do the podcasting?
So I did one season of my podcast, I think a year ago now.
Yep.
It started off called 2018 because we were in the year of 2018, and what a glorious title to have. And then 2018 finished, and I thought, shit, what are we going to do now?
Yeah, new season, new name.
So then I titled it Fuck for Fun because I love that word and I think it is a great form of expression, and it really kind of tied into what I like to talk about. So each episode we'd kind of bring up a different taboo or awkward subject, then unpack it, being it kind of like first dates or medication or antidepressants, just kind of like a whole plethora of things that society kind of tries to veer away from.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it. And for yourself, how in 2020, how have you been affected by the coronavirus pandemic? What were you doing, in your work, and what are you doing now? And what haven't you been able to do? And obviously you've picked up in social media quite heavily, but what haven't you been able to do?
Sure. Well, I was fortunate in that COVID didn't affect my full-time job. I worked at a youth media publication doing writing and kind of like social media stuff. Midway through, I guess, the first stage of lockdown, I decided to step away, which I guess for some is a risk, a big risk, given that we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. But I was just ready to kind of go into the freelance world and to focus on the stuff that I was passionate about. I would say the main way that COVID has affected me personally is just the fact that I live alone. And I moved out into this lovely abode about a week before the pandemic hit. So, at the time when I was tossing up whether to move out by myself or not, I was like, it'll be fine because I can go out and I can see humans and friends. And then the world said, no, you're not going to do that.
You can't do that, yeah.
so that was tricky, especially in Sydney when we couldn't really, much like Melbourne's going through now, couldn't leave the house.
Yeah.
And that was really testing to, isolate alone, but I guess the silver lining was that I was able to tap into my creativity, I guess, and
that's great.
Go to apps like TikTok and Instagram.
So you've actually come up with a bit of a list of things to do at home if you are lonely, and ways to not feel lonely. So you've come up with a few ideas, and you've sent them through to us, which are pretty funny, but share some of them.
Sure. I thought I'd, talk about some shit hot tips to feel less lonely, because 2020, it's been like that. And
it's a lonely year for a lot of people. Yeah.
we're all so lonely. So I guess my first tip would be to give your plants personalities. I feel like that's really important. I have probably 6 on my windowsill right now, and I talk to them a lot. Some people may be concerned. My neighbors might be concerned, but it just makes me feel less lonely. Tip number 2 is to purchase as many mirrors as possible. I have about 4 or 5 in this room alone, and it's kind of handy just so that when you pivot, you can just see a human breathing body there, even if it is just your own. But
it's better than nothing.
Yeah,
that's great.
Then I would suggest doing some things that make you feel like you are contributing to society. For example, buying a cookbook or something. The cookbook will never be used. It'll more so be a placemat for your Uber Eats. But at least when the time comes and you can have friends to, see your place, they'll see a cookbook, and that's kind of all that matters. I have behind that plant is a Jamie Oliver cookbook.
I've seen him on your Instagram. Yeah.
Don't tell mum, but I don't think I've used it once. Even 5 ingredients for me is like, give me 2 ingredients.
He's got a very inviting face, so when you have people around, they see Jamie Oliver and they automatically feel at home, It's just a household face, and people relate to him, Then
he's relatable, he's friendly, you see that grin, and you're like, you know what? Thank you for making this person cook, even though I cook. I've also dived into a lot of YouTube, dark holes. When you just like click recommended videos and then it takes you to another recommended video.
I call it the 5th dimension of YouTube.
Yeah.
You just how did I get here? Yeah.
100%. So recently I've been really into extreme ironing. So that's been getting me through life. So that's literally just people ironing in really extreme locations, be it on a cliff face or while skydiving. And that's really been absorbing a lot of my, mental efforts recently. Also, I recommend people watch, there is a YouTube digital recreation of the sinking of Titanic in real time.
Wow.
And so that I spent 2 hours and 41 minutes just watching baby sink.
Titanic sink. That's great.
You know what? My final tip would be to just cry. Scream if you want. Or scream, cry. Do both. I feel like that's really therapeutic. And sometimes you just need to scream at the world.
Just let out some emotions. So in your videos, I feel like, you play a lot of characters and, are you sort of like, have you seen the movie Split with James McAvoy? Yeah, he plays a lot of characters. Is it like that in your house where you play 21 different roles in your house?
Yeah.
I didn't do that. That was Patricia kind of thing. Yeah.
I think, in my various jobs, and when I was working at the media publication, I did, a lot of like presenting and skit work, which required some wigs, because why not? Wigs are fun.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
I kind of stockpiled a whole, garbage bag full of wigs over the years. And look, I guess they came out. When Rona said hello, they said hello.
They came out to play. That's awesome. So you did a bit of hosting and stuff, and you're not doing so much of that anymore. You're doing more the social media side of things, being in lockdown. So how have you sort of, what are you doing to stay creative, and how do you come up with your ideas? Where do you get the inspiration from? Do you just, roam around the house until you find an idea? What are you doing? Because some of your content is so out there and so wacky, but so creative as well, and I absolutely love it. I think it's hilarious. So how do those ideas come to your head?
Thank you. It's tricky. I feel like, especially for creative people, being, confined to four walls for 6, 7, 8 months, it can be really hard to find sources of creative inspiration. And I also feel like there's this pressure that we've put on ourselves to be creative and to make things, which can be hard and, can be tiring if you're constantly trying to think about what you should be making or like what the next step should be. So I guess for me, I kind of try and just keep it as organic as possible.
I think that's
I try not to overthink things too much. And when an idea comes to mind, it's that kind of like spontaneity that I really love when just creating something.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I definitely have like a list of notes where, I'll jot down some random things I think about at 4 a.m. But on the whole, I think I've really tried to, I guess, just stay engaged with the conversations on the internet and to just see what's happening, what kinds of dialogues are being said on, for example, on Twitter, or even just scrolling through TikTok and finding just funny individual pieces of content that you're just like, that inspire you in some way to
and
your own thing.
Is that how you keep up with the trends? The internet's changing every day, and there's every week, every month, there's new trends, new memes, and new things to do. So is that how you sort of keep up?
Yeah, I think it's always important to, be involved in the conversation and to keep up with all of the different trends and stuff. That being said, I also believe that, while trends and stuff are great and can be so funny and successful, I think it's important to take a step back and think about what you yourself offer that is unique from everyone else's. So I guess for that, and a lot of my inspiration, I just think back to my childhood. I think back to funny moments. I think about nostalgia and like what was huge or funny or trending back in like 2008. Because we always love to talk about like either awkward moments from our life or some funny things from 2007 or like the MySpace days or something,
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Remember when we did this? Yeah, that was kind of funny. And then, play on that.
Top friends. That was fucking crazy. Top friends. People would put their top friends and rank them in public. Who does that? Jesus.
People with the hierarchical friend system,
100%.
Speaking of nostalgia, one of your tips to make you feel less lonely at home is buy sea monkeys. And I've seen that you've been looking after some sea monkeys, and that was a very 90s throwback. Here we go. We've got the sea monkeys. Very good. And that was pretty funny. How many have you got now?
What? Okay, I'm thinking these suckers are getting big. I reckon there's about like 20 big boys in there. And then some new ones hatching. So I'm really lonely at the moment. So these sea monkeys have become my best friends for the time being, and no one is able to laugh at me or question my choices in life.
Very good.
A
judgment-free relationship.
Yeah. I think I was just like walking through Kmart and then just walked past sea monkeys, and I thought, surely not. Like, these things still exist.
Yeah.
And now I'm a father.
Well, as an adult, I've been thinking about sea monkeys, and I saw it on your post, and I was like, that's fantastic, because I always thought, as a kid, it never worked, because I never looked after them, and they always died. So they never really hatched or anything. But as an adult, you take more care. You're a bit smarter now, and you can...
100%.
You're a bit more responsible. You can actually take care of a living thing.
Exactly. Because I always have memories of buying the sea monkeys as kids, but I literally don't have a memory of getting rid of the sea monkeys. So, like, I remember I texted Mum the other day, and I was like, did we flush them down the toilet? Like, how did we get rid of these things?
What happened? So many questions.
Yeah, I obviously blocked it from my conscience. It was trauma.
Yeah, it must have been traumatic.
Yeah, but now, I'm a semi-functioning adult, and this is my next step. just to adult life is owning sea monkeys again.
Now, something else I thought was hilarious and that's been happening over the last week on your profile is you found a twin. You found your doppelganger.
I found my twin.
Tell us who it is. Who's your twin? They're from Amsterdam, I believe.
Yeah, so his name's Roy, and I love him. Roy, I love you. A friend of mine just sent me DM'd me an Instagram of his and was just like, "Is this you?" And you know when people like tell you that, "Hey, this person looks like you," and you look at them and you're like, I
get it all the time. Literally anyone with the mustache, "Hey, you look like that guy." It's because of the mustache. It's like, I get that. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, surely not. But I looked at the image and I was like, oh, yeah, wow. We were in the womb together. We were made. And so I just started my journey to get noticed by him, and he probably looked at his phone and was like, "Who is this crazy human from Australia? And why is he screenshotting zoomed up
images
to his Instagram stories?" It turned out that him and his partner they agreed, and they were happy to jump in on the conversation as well. And look, it turns out that he is my twin.
And there you go. There's no denying it. Your parents
the power of the internet, the power of the people, and just it's crazy that people saw my stories and then reached out to the both of them, and now I've spoken to both of them. We laugh about it, and they don't know it yet, but I'll be asking for a yacht. I want to go on like a yacht holiday with them because they do it a lot, and
I saw, they were in what's that, Positano or whatever, on a yacht.
Where was my invite? Like, surely I can.
It's the whole Despicable Me thing, One got really rich, and then one became a criminal,
I'm just left looking after my fucking sea monkeys while they're living up in Positano. Jesus.
Your sea monkeys live a better life than what you do, so very spoiled.
But no, that was fun, and it's just like highlighted how fun, things like Instagram can be. It started from nothing. It starts from, a friend sending one Instagram photo, and then all of a sudden
now it's trending.
People being really invested in your blood relatives.
Where do you see New Year's Eve in Sydney this year? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to have some big celebrations in Sydney, or it's going to be pretty tame?
You know what? I was literally speaking about this with a friend of mine yesterday. And just the fact that it's wild that we've started thinking about New Year's. Like, I'm just like, this year's just begun. I don't know. I'm in this like weird limbo where I feel like this year's just begun, but it's also like this year has flown by.
I feel the same way. I feel like it's still March. I can't believe it either. But yeah.
Like, it's September, and I feel like we just haven't left the house.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
it's been Groundhog Day, and it's just been the same thing over and over, and it feels like one long day,
Yeah. But I think, look, nothing wild will be happening, I'm sure. Even like the past couple of New Year's, I've had pretty low-key ones, just like dinners with friends, but it'll probably be much the same. I wish it was something big, but, as Rona does, she says no.
No, exactly right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Lewis. We've had a great chat. I think we should end with a fun game. What do you reckon?
I love games.
All right, can you see this okay?
Two twins or not two twins?
Yes. So you mentioned that you found your doppelganger, you found your twin, and this is him. I can't actually tell who's who, to be honest.
We were separated at birth. I'm calling mum, like, literally, why did you get rid of Roy? Like, he's a good looking kid. I mean, we're identical. why did you choose me over him? But anyway, that's another. We'll save that for another episode.
You've got some explaining to do, but this is two twins or not two twins. So basically, I'm going to show you a celebrity, and you're going to tell me if they have a twin sibling of some description. And if you're correct, you'll get a point. If you're incorrect, you won't get a point. There's 10 celebrities. We're going to see how you do. Let's start with number 1.
He serves non-twin energy. Just because if you look at his, filmography, I just feel like his roles are all about independence and doing the damn thing. So I'm going to say, Owen,
No.
you are not a twin. You're a fraud.
Owen Wilson does not have twins, no. He has 2 other brothers, though, Andrew and Luke. So I'm sure you've seen Luke in other movies as well. Number 2, John Heder from Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay. Bless Napoleon. I'm going to say that he is a twin. Now, hear me out here. I feel like, and I'm talking about Napoleon days.
You are right, he is. John and Dan, there you go. All right, next one.
Great. They look. I love that.
They look alike. Number 3, Ashton Kutcher.
I think I know this one. I think Ashton has a twin.
Yes, you are correct. Michael and Ashton Kutcher. There you go.
Beautiful.
All right, next one. Zoe Deschanel.
New girl. I'm going to say you do not have a twin, but you wish you had a twin.
She doesn't have a twin, but she does have a sister, Emily, and she's in Bones, if you've ever seen Bones. Number 5.
Oh, she's also. I love that.
Kiefer Sutherland.
You, sir, are a twin.
Yes, he has a twin sister, Rachel Sutherland.
As a twin myself, I now understand
You can-
his twin energy.
You can pick up that twin energy. Very good. Number 6, Aaron Carter. This is what he looks like now, by the way. He's a bad boy.
Yeah, he's a bad boy. As am I. Really bad. I think you are not a twin. You have a brother, but you're not a twin.
He actually has a twin sister. That's your first incorrect one. You're 5 from 6.
Well,
There you go. Number 7, Rami Malek.
I think that he does not have a twin because he needs to be front and center. He needs to be the protagonist in the film, he can't distract.
Let me cut you off there. He does. Sami and Rami Malek.
Jesus. Well, at least their names rhyme. I think that's sick. If I had twins,
It's
I'd
like
have
Rod and Todd from The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly.
5 from 7. Number 8, Dennis Quaid.
You're an identical twin, and there is someone out there who looks exactly like you.
All right. He has a brother, but it's not. It's Randy. Randy and Dennis Quaid. All right, what are we at? We're at 5 from 8. Next one. Jake Gyllenhaal.
I know your famous sister. However, I think you were solo in the womb, Jake.
I think you're right. Jake and Maggie, he does have a sister, but they're not twins. All right, so that takes you up to 6. 6 from 9. You're doing pretty well. Let's finish with 7. Finish strong. Number 10, Vin Diesel.
I hope you're a twin, just so we can have more Vin Diesel energy in this world.
Yeah. Well, he does have a twin, Paul Vincent.
That's pretty
nothing
good.
alike.
That's not bad. No.
That's pretty good. 7 out of 10. Not bad. Thanks for playing. 2 twins or not 2 twins?
Yeah, 100%. Thank you. That was fun.
Well, thanks so much for joining us on the show, Lewis, and keep creating great content and keeping us entertained on Instagram and TikTok and the likes, and hopefully see you in other things when lockdown's finished, and hopefully chat soon.
Perfect. Thanks so much for having me. It's been fun.
No, you're welcome. Take care and all the best. Good luck. Well, Louis, you are a bunch of laughs and I had a great chat today. We'll leave links to his socials in the description below, and be sure to check it out because his stuff is really hilarious. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any content coming up in the future. But make sure you hit that like button, hit that thumbs up. But most importantly, like I said earlier, share this video, share this content, because we're really trying to raise awareness and help an industry that's been hurt by the coronavirus pandemic. Once again, I'm Stephen, the man with the mustache, and I'll see you next time on the Creative Arts Show.